Well, joining us now on the line to take a look at the World Economic Forum's Global Technology Report for 2014 is Benat Bilbao, Senior Economist at the World Economic Forum. Benat, this is I suppose the second and last of the big reports that we can expect from the WEF on global information technology. Clearly we in Africa are interested at how well our countries have been doing, and Mauritius continues to lead the way.
Yes, that's correct. Mauritius is the best ranked country in the region, Sub-Saharan Africa, at 48th place out of 148 economies that are analyzed in this report. The second country that comes next is South Africa at 70th place, and the rest of the countries are positioned within the bottom half of our analysis.
The Mauritian improvement was quite marked, from 55th position last year to, as you said earlier, 48th position. How would that happen?
Well, I think that the reason why Mauritius has gone up in the rankings this year and has actually managed to get into the top 50 of our ranking is because Mauritius has developed a very strong vision in terms of the role that ICT has to play for the overall economy and society, and it has identified ICT as one of the key industries to be developed. That translates into stronger ICT infrastructure, and also in terms of more and stronger uptake of these technologies across the entire population.
Benat, with regard to the other African nations, where are they falling short?
Well, I think that some of the key challenges that many of the sub-Saharan African countries are facing are basically three. So first of all, the development of the ICT infrastructure is still relatively weak across the continent. And it's not only that it's a little bit underdeveloped, but it's also quite costly to access it. So the cost of accessing internet is still quite significant, for example, in many of the countries. The second one is that in order to be able to achieve good results that ICT can provide, you need to count on relatively high levels of skills, and educational systems still are not performing as strong as they could in many of the countries, and that it's hindering the capacity of individuals, of governments and businesses to make an effective use of ICT. And finally, I would say that in some countries there are some difficulties in terms of the framework conditions in developing, the right set of political and regulatory environment that can allow ICT to be integrated in more robust innovation ecosystems.
South Africa, as you mentioned, is in position 70. That's exactly where it was a year ago, halfway on the scale out of 148 countries. So clearly there hasn't been much progress one way or the other.
Well, it's not entirely true. So it's true that, it stays in 70th place out of the 148. But we have to see that, this is a ranking where you compare vis-a-vis other nations. If you see the profile of South Africa, you actually see that the country has done quite a few efforts to increase the number of users of ICT in the country, notably in terms of internet users, where they have actually doubled the figure. What happens is that there are other countries that are also making a lot of progress, and that's why South Africa remains stable in the rankings. But the country is making efforts to improve its situation, notably in terms of expanding the number of internet users.
If you look at the rarefied atmosphere of the top 10, the United States jumping a couple of positions, you would have thought perhaps they would be number one, but they're coming in at number 7. For those who are making the laws or the decisions in South Africa, what can the United States' improvement from a very high position already teach us?
Well, I think that what led the increase of the United States in the rankings to go up 2 places is that they are leveraging even better their huge potential innovation capacities. So they are integrating better the ICT systems with their innovation systems, and this is what is leading them to improve in the rankings this year. I think that the lessons that can be drawn from this situation is that you need to integrate better ICT, the digital potential of a country, within the broader innovation ecosystem, because this is what is making the true difference for different countries.
That was Benat Bilbao, the senior economist at the World Economic Forum.